What's the most WTF thing you've ever seen happen at a wedding? At the reception, the best man and groom were drunk and started fighting. Cops were called and the groom decided he would win a fight with the 6'5" state trooper. They had to hog-tie him after he kicked two other officers. I was the photographer doing a favor for a friend. Attended a wedding where they had hired private security to ensure the bride's father and stepmom wouldn't come in and disrupt everything. After security blocked them from going in, I guess they decided to get drunk in the car. They then came back and proceeded to beat the security guards up with their empty liquor bottles. Before the wedding, I overheard the groom's family calling the bride paranoid and selfish, and that she should have invited her dad. Obviously, they had never met him before. They wanted their German Shepherd in the wedding. He walked down by the bride and took a dump. Hilarious. Groom got up during the reception to announce that they, both 18 years old, were already expecting a child. They had purposefully gotten pregnant so their parents would have to let them get married, and the very religious parents were very ashamed and trying to keep it a secret. But after the groom so loudly announced it to everyone else, a brawl broke out between the families, each accusing the other's kid of entrapping the other. Bride's mother pulled a gun on the groom prior to the wedding started. For some reason the wedding got cancelled. Maid of honor did a wide receiver dive trying to catch the bouquet and went right through the wedding cake. After the toast, the bride said she had a surprise for everyone and started playing a video. They got married a year ago in secret. Only 2 people there knew about it and kept it a secret from everyone. Even the parents didn't know. The end of the video, the bride turns to the cameras and said, "Surprise bitches, you are at our 1-year anniversary." Male stripper in a leopard print thong was hired to provide entertainment at the wedding I was attending. Nobody paid any attention to him or tipped him. He got bored and sat by the buffet tables. I felt sorry for him and joined him for the remainder of the reception. We played many games of tic-tac-toe. I was 6 years old. A group of women shrieking with laughter as they tried to put their hands up the kilt of a 7-year-old boy to see what's up there. The bride and some of her friends intervened and the women were physically removed from the wedding. Edited to add, the women in question were arrested for it, after the one who was basically the ringleader was knocked out by the bride. They then spent the period from Saturday night until Monday morning in the cells. A male relative of mine got married. His mother died a couple of weeks before the ceremony. His widowed father showed up to the wedding with his new girlfriend, who was wearing the dead mother's clothes. I mean the dress she picked out for the wedding, her shoes and jewelry. Our whole family was shocked. They spent the whole day telling everyone they saw that it would have been a shame to not use it, since it was such a happy coincidence that his late wife and new girlfriend shared the same size. Needless to say, the groom loves his wife, but doesn't like to talk about the wedding. Groom smashes cake in the bride's face. Her dad immediately leads him outside and all you hear is a thump, and a moment later dad walks back in. During the father-daughter dance, father was grabbing the daughter's ass. I was in utter disbelief. My aunt was a justice of the peace and officiated a wedding where 7 women were wearing bridal dresses. Not white dresses, full-on wedding dresses with accessories. Turned out the bride was very shy and hated to be the center of attention, but also wanted to wear a bridal dress for her groom. Her friends promised to wear their bridal dresses if she would wear one, and so they did. The first "you may kiss the bride," the groom practically swallowed the bride's face and it lasted a good 8 to 10 seconds. Her second wedding, his 4th. It was so cringy. Bride takeaway by EMT after drinking too much. At my wedding, one of the caterer attendants decided to take my husband and his groomsmen's offer of a few swigs of whiskies before the ceremony on the side of the building. The attendant was younger, at least 21, but not much older, and was drunk AF. He then got fired and decided to join our reception party and get more drinks. He jumped in front of all the guys to catch the garter. I was really upset at the time, but I found a candid photo of the moment he caught the garter, and he did a whole air kick and was so disheveled it made me laugh. Immediately after dinner, half the reception, the bride's family got up en masse to go milk their cows. They were Amish or Mennonite. It occurred to me later that maybe they were really avoiding the dancing. A thunderclap at the if anyone objects bit in the ceremony. Groom got caught cheating on the bride 2 months later. Groom was drunk, standing on the hood of the best man's car and hood surfing around the hotel parking lot. Groom ended up getting launched off the hood onto the asphalt. Bride and groom end up at ER and she has blood all over her dress. Kids. TSK, TSK, TSK. Couple was conservative, evangelical Christian. The bride had always been a Christian, but the groom had converted sometime in his mid to late 20s. As such, the bride was a virgin and the groom was not. Not a big deal. Except every single one of his groomsmen brought it up during their speeches. They felt the need to let everyone know that the groom had gotten laid before and now got to bang a virgin. It was truly gross. Seen it twice. At the reception, the older, unmarried sister of the bride or groom has to dance in a hog feeding trough by themselves in front of everyone, because their younger sibling got married before them. All the family, friends, guests gather around them to laugh and heckle. We couldn't help but feel bad for them, especially the poor big sister who was a little on the heavier side. Sorry about your self-esteem, I guess. Maid of honor told the bride she was pregnant, during the reception, with the groom's child that led to the next wedding where the groom is now marrying the former maid of honor and the ex-wife tells her that she is also pregnant with, you guessed it, the groom's child. The groom's father was drunk before the ceremony and got worse as the evening progressed. During the reception, the groom's mother locked herself in the bathroom while other women tried to coax her to come out. Several people on the bride's side were also fighting. I was asked to drive a terrified old lady home. The couple divorced soon after. One of the bridesmaids got caught doing the nasty with the groom. Needless to say, the wedding was called off and presents were picked up at the door when people left. Most awkward thing ever since everyone was so confused. Father of the bride gave a 10-minute long speech where he said if she wasn't his daughter he'd marry her. While his wife stood right next to him. I worked at a wedding venue. Bride and groom shut their reception down in the middle of it to show a basketball game. Their team lost, so everyone started drinking real hard and the bride ended up on the floor, throwing up in our mop bucket. Long ago I worked at a banquet hall and witnessed a fully NASCAR-themed wedding. During the reception they played the audio of the proposal going out over the PA at the track. It was fully unintelligible. BZZT Gabagga MRRY Med's room. Other highlights were the owner locking himself in his office to avoid the bride's father because he was threatening him to haggle on the costs. In the end we had to call the police because the bride in gown climbed over the bar to steal more sweet MGD after we had closed the taps and the event was over. They ignored the entire group of wedding guests and only took pics with their bridesmaids' groomsmen. Then the second the wedding ceremony was over they grabbed a whiskey bottle and proceeded to drink from same bottle while passing around to their wedding group. Everyone at that wedding was pissed they spent time money to even go. It was like a white trash sorority party. The groom's sister gave a speech at the reception and ended it with "You can't make a hoe a housewife," and literally dropped the mic and sat back down. At the reception, they had live goldfish in bowls on each table. The groom got really drunk and ended up swallowing one of the goldfish for fun. The kid bearing the ring arrived at the altar with no ring on the little pillow. Quick-thinking father of the groom substituted his own wedding ring. The ring was never found. Later in the ceremony the organist passed out slumped on the keyboard, treating us all to a glorious sustained cluster chord on the pipe organ. Bride was Drew like, whoa girl, her dad basically had to carry her down the aisle with her brother's help. It was a surprise they went through with it. Limo engine caught fire a block from the church after they left. I was a wedding caterer. The venue I worked at had a strict rule about no outside alcohol. I worked with my mom and she noticed that the groom and groomsmen were extremely intoxicated very early on in the day. She went in their rooms and found a bunch of moonshine and put it behind the bar, but it was too late. The groom had to be helped to the altar to marry his pregnant wife. Poor thing. After dinner I was clearing plates and I walked outside where the groom immediately hit on me. I was 16 and just turned right around and went back inside. My sister-in-law wore an unconventional wedding dress, a short skirt, halter top with bare midriff, and fairy wings. It was very cute. She came over to our table to say hello during the reception and my great-aunt pulled up her skirt to see what she was wearing underneath, exposing her underwear to the table and possibly the rest of the room. My sister-in-law just laughed it off, probably because my aunt was very old. Still, I couldn't believe she did that.